8 teams entered the semifinals. Only 4 of them were expected. For the first time since FIFA rankings began in 1992, the top 4 seeds all made it. The World Cup delivered exactly what the world wanted. This was not a tournament of surprises. This was a tournament of superstars. The greatest players alive showed up. And they showed out. But here is the thing nobody expected. Even with all that talent at the top, there was still room for the underdog. Still room for the career revival. Still room for the hero nobody saw coming. This is the definitive World Cup 2026 Best 11. Every single name earned its start with the goalkeeper. Nobody picked Orlando Gill before this tournament. Nobody was talking about Paraguay, and then matchday 1 happened, and it was a disaster. The United States put 4 goals past him, 4 goals. Opening game, most keepers never recover from that, but Gill did something remarkable. He came back-to-back clean sheets, followed Paraguay, qualified for the round of 32 on the back of that run. Then came Germany, one of the most feared penalty shootout nations in football history. Gill stood tall. He saved Kai Havertz. He saved Nick Woltemade. Jonathan Tah stepped up and sent his penalties somewhere into the atmosphere. Jose Canali buried his, and Paraguay made history. Germany lost a World Cup penalty shootout for the first time ever. By the end of the tournament, Gill had made 23 saves. He had prevented 2.6 goals. Above expectation, the highest figure at the entire World Cup according to Opta. 1 bad day. 1 extraordinary tournament. But here is the twist: the best goalkeeper of this World Cup never made the final. Paraguay fell to France in the last 16, and Mbappe, in a moment that went viral, instantly refused to shake Gill's hand after the match. But that story comes later. Right now, the defenders Pedro Porro of Spain almost did not make this tournament at all. In March 2023, Porro was hooked at halftime against Scotland in a Euro qualifier. 45 minutes gone, he missed Euro 2024 entirely. He spent last season at a Tottenham side that nearly got relegated. Luis de la Fuente called him up anyway. Most people expected Marcos Llorente to start. Llorente did start in Spain's opener against Cabo Verde. Spain drew. De la Fuente changed tack. Porro came in and never looked back. He scored in the round of 32. He scored in the semi-final in Spain's 2-0 win over France. Porro was named player of the match. From halftime substitution and a qualifier to World Cup semi-final, hero football is a beautiful and brutal game. Beside Porro in that Spanish defense, Aymeric Laporte, French-born Spanish international, once considered among Europe's finest center-backs during his Manchester City years. Some had written him off. This World Cup reminded everyone why he was so highly rated. 7 clean sheets in 8 appearances. Calm, commanding, faultless, throughout playing alongside the young Pau Cubars, who won the Young Player of the Tournament award. Laporte was the steady hand that made Spain's defensive line so difficult to break. And on the other flank, Marc Cucurella at Euro 2024, he was the pantomime villain mocked. Jeered. Written off this summer, he was unrecognizable. With Nico Williams injured, Lex Baena started wide left that pushed Cucurella higher into an attacking outlet role. His runs, his cutbacks, his energy. He starred in Spain's 3-0 win over Austria. He contributed a goal in 8 appearances. And somewhere Jose Mourinho is taking notes. Now the engine room, the midfield, and it starts with one name. Rodri. Last October, Pep Guardiola said something very specific. He said, "Do you know when Rodri will be good at the World Cup with Spain at the World Cup? He will be the best." Rodri. Guardiola was right. The 2024 Ballon d'Or winner had been recovering from an ankle injury. His form had been inconsistent. Manchester City had suffered because of it, but at this World Cup, Rodri was reborn. 756 completed passes, the most of any player at the entire tournament. 49 duels. Won Spain's heartbeat, Spain's brain, Spain's captain. He won the World Cup Golden Ball, and nobody argued with that decision. But here is what nobody is saying loudly enough: the record breaker of this World Cup was not a striker, it was a winger, Michael Olise. France, 24 years old coming into this tournament. The big story around Olise was Real Madrid. Could the Galacticos make him their next signing after re-electing Florentino Perez as president? Olise had just had an incredible season with Bayern Munich. But in France, he did something nobody has done in 56 years. 7 assists at a single World Cup. 7. That broke the all-time record, a record that had been held by Pelé since 1958. 56 years untouched. Gone. Olise did not score a single goal. He spurned chances. He will know that, but his passing weight, His vision, his composure in tight spaces. France did not reach the final without him. This is only the beginning for Michael Olise. And then there is Jude Bellingham. England, 8 appearances, 7 goals, 1 assist. Thomas Tuchel built his entire England campaign around 2 players, Bellingham and Harry Kane. They delivered, but it was Bellingham who captured a nation. England beat Mexico at the Azteca, at altitude. Bellingham scored twice in what has been called England's greatest result. Since 1966, then came Norway in the quarterfinals. England were behind going into the second half. Bellingham scored twice again. England were through. His mentality was infectious. His presence was magnetic. An entire country fell in love with their number 10 all over again. England were eventually eliminated in the semifinals, a crushing exit, but while Bellingham plays, English supporters will keep believing. Now the forwards, and this is where the tournament truly became historic. Erling Haaland. Norway, 5 appearances, 7 goals, 53.8% conversion rate. Norway were the dark horse. Coming in there was hype, but also doubt. Could they handle the pressure of a World Cup? Haaland answered that question personally. He did not just score goals. He bullied defenses. He pressed. He hassled. He created space for others, and then Brazil stood in Norway's way. The 5-time world champions Haaland scored twice. Norway won. The United States, the host nation, fell completely in love with Erling Haaland. He was everywhere. In stadiums, in streets, in highlights, Norway reached the quarterfinals on the back of one man's relentless hunger. But here is where it gets serious. Lionel Messi, Argentina, 8 appearances, 8 goals, 4 assists. 39 years old, nobody gave Argentina genuine hype before this tournament. The squad had barely changed from Qatar. Messi was 39. How much could he really have left? The answer: everything. On multiple occasions, Argentina stared at elimination. Every single time Messi drifted wide right and changed the game. His work in Qatar was compared to Maradona in 1986. Some said that was the peak. This summer at 39, this may have been even better. There is nothing left to prove. He was not defending his legacy here. He was simply enjoying destroying the opposition. And finally, Kylian Mbappé. France. 8 appearances, 10 goals, 4 assists. Golden Boot winner, and something even bigger, Mbappé is now the all-time leading scorer in World Cup history. He overtook Messi 4 years earlier than most predicted he would. France lost to Spain in the final, suffocated by their counter-press and high defensive line. Mbappé missed penalties. He knows, but his goals from outside the box were in another dimension. And that handshake he refused to give Orlando Gill, even that moment, became a talking point. Love him or not, Mbappé owns this stage. This World Cup had everything: upsets, records, revivals, legends. Drop a comment below who was your player of the tournament, and if you want to go deeper on any of these stories, every single one has its own video coming. Subscribe now. You do not want to miss what is coming next.